They assemble at night, each one having prepared as diligently as possible for the time given to them before the witching hour, the hour of reckoning, the time when they begin outdoor cartoon television. Stray Casts is on the air.
Fish it out.
Hey, World Wide Web. Do you bass fish? I bass fish. I love bass fishing. And it's Wednesday night. It's time for Stray Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. I'm your host, Pat Renwick. Again, the best bass anglers in the Bassin Galaxy come to Stray Casts to play. A big show tonight. How about a big studio audience for a big old show? Woo! Yes! Woo! That's how we do it at
Sorry,
Ashley's.
I clapped right into the mic.
That's how we do it at Ashley's. That's how we do it. Hey, I said I'm Pat Renwick, but this guy right over here, America knows him as the red-bearded wonder. He used to be a pirate, but now he's a bass fisherman. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Ryan Poppy Longstockings Corn Whitaker.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you. I am a pirate.
This dude right here. Where the
Mike
stars,
is hot.
The stars come to play on Stray Casts.
I'm happy to play.
I was talking about you.
Oh, thanks.
Yes.
Thank you.
The
Yes,
stars
they
come
do.
to play on Stray Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. Most of you know him. Most of you know him as Serafina's dad, but I know him as the Ginger Ninja. He's our producer, Andrew Ellenberger. Yeah, the Gingy Ninja. He's producing the hell out
He
of
put
this.
himself on the camera. That was slick.
Look, here, there's Ginger on the camera. I see him. Hey, you know who else is here? They call him the HHF. Harry Horner
Henderson.
Pfaffenhofer. No, it's really the hip-hop fisherman. Ladies and gentlemen, JP. Hi.
What up?
Happy birthday, JP.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. Hey, I want to remind you, get your questions ready on the social media, on the Facebook Live. because JP is fielding your questions for the professionals coming in tonight. Oh, yeah, and Bobby B. Bobby B's over here, too. Give it up for Bobby B. Wow. Woo! Bobby. Hey, pros. Coming up tonight, first off the bat, we have Mike McClelland, Bassmaster Elite Cheers Crew Pro. Mike McClelland coming at us live.
Fresh off a win.
He's on the Skype machine. He knocked it out at the Table Rock.
No.
Legend of the sport. I'm going to call him a legend of the sport who's
Absolutely.
coming on after McClelland. McClelland's a legend, too, but this guy a legend also. We're going to find out some interesting things about this dude. We've never had this gentleman on the show. I am super stoked that Randy Howell, Bassmaster Classic champion, coming on the show. Randy, the great Randino. And Ryan, do you speak into Dortch?
Yes, I do.
Do you speak into Dortch?
I've been learning.
Okay, well, I'm learning too, and I'm learning a lot about this guy, Bradley Dortch. Fresh is the word for the night. Off of his win on the Harris Chain of Lakes on the FLW tour. The FLW, the FLW tour. Bradley Dortch coming on the Skype machine after Randy Howell.
Radio edit.
Hey, big show tonight. Don't you go anywhere. Get your questions ready on the Facebook Live from Mike McClelland. Put the power poles down. We're coming right back at you. See you in a minute.
Outrageous Outdoors is quickly becoming the industry leader in tournament fishing apparel. There's no better way to represent your sponsors than with a Outrageous jersey. At Outrageous, you can get a short sleeve, long sleeve, sweatpants, the best prices in the industry. Outrageous also offers club and team discounts, special high school and college prices. Our website is easy to navigate, and Outrageous' staff will make the process quick and easy for you. Outrageous Outdoors, offering high-quality tournament apparel for the weekend angler. Outfit yourself from head to toe. Check out Outrageous online at www.outrageous.com.
I'm John DeMay with M Jigs. Today, I'd like to share with you a little bit about a couple products that we have in our lineup that we're really excited about. The first product I'd like to talk to you about today is the Joe Football Head Jig. Right out of the package, you'll notice that our football head jig is different than most on the market. What makes our jigs different is the quality of components. Let's start with the hook. These hooks are custom made for us in Japan. 90-degree bend, black nickel hooks, razor sharp, JDM quality. All of our Joe Football Head jigs have living rubber skirts. They're hand tied with copper wire to ensure that they stay affixed, and it also helps them to flare while they're in the water. We powder paint and heat cure each jig to ensure that the paint stays on your jig even when you're fishing rock. Another feature that separates our jig from other jigs on the market is the screw lock keeper. The screw lock keeper does a couple things for you. Not only does it keep your bait affixed, it'll save you money on soft plastics that pull off of standard barb keepers. The second product I'd like to talk to you about is our hybrid flip and swim jig. We also have a custom hook in our flip and swim jig. It's a 4/0 30-degree bend black nickel hook. It has the same durable paint, the same great keeper, and a hand-tied silicone skirt to complete it. So if you're looking for a premium product that's going to give you an edge over your competition, look us up at demjigs.com.
Quality, dependability, consistency, and fish-catching performance is what separates a War Eagle spinnerbait from the pack. Hand-assembled, inspected, and tested in Rogers, Arkansas, War Eagle lures are the choice of Mike McClelland, Andy Morgan, Edwin Evers, and you, the serious bass angler. War Eagle lures, when you absolutely have to catch fish. Find War Eagle lures at your local tackle store or visit wareaglelures.com today. Welcome back. Straight Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. The festivities commence right here, right now. I'm your host, Pat Renwick. This is Ryan Popcorn Whitaker.
Hello.
And right now, we are super proud to bring back to the show. He's a two-time veteran of the Bass Buzz on Straight Cast. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mike McClelland. Woo! What up, Mike? What up? Give me an internet high five, Mike. Internet high five right there. Yeah, wait, all right. Hey, do you have some wardrobe changes in store for us tonight, like a true bass fishing rock star?
Well, we'll see what happens.
Okay, I like it. I like it. Hey, Mike, the first thing I got to say to you, man, of course, welcome back to the show. It's always a pleasure to hang out with Mike McClelland, but did you ever think that a crappie would cost you 10 grand, Mike?
Oh, you would have to bring that up.
Wow, what the heck? A $10,000 crappie? A sockeye?
$10,000 crappie. Pretty hard to believe, but you know, it's like you and I have talked before. Everything happens for a reason, and you know, if that bass had not spit that crappie up, I would have stayed in Florida at least one more day, and I might not have got the little blessing I got at Table Rock.
That is a true story, and you know, that crappie it kept you hungry. It kept you hungry.
It did. It was pretty frustrating. I had a pretty solid finish at Cherokee. Went to Okeechobee feeling like everything was going good. You know, solid in the cut the first day, and you know, caught a lot of fish the second day, but just did not catch any big ones. And then to find out that 4 ounces cost me the cut, and it was laying in my live well after the first day, it was pretty rough on me.
You did clean out the live well of the Stratus there, didn't you, though?
Yes, I did. I cleaned the Stratus live well out, and you know, you get to Table Rock, and I mean, I'm dealing with. You would not believe the ounces of shad that the bass spit up at Table Rock, but fortunately, I won that deal without all those shad that they spit.
Nice.
You need to put a stomach relaxer in that live well.
Yeah, you give him some Metamucil. What?
Yeah,
I don't even.
Exactly.
I don't even know what that is. But hey, before we get into the whole Table Rock deal, how's the RV living?
Dude, it is awesome. You know, my wife has stayed home for the last 14 to 16 years. Taking care of all our 3 boys, taking them to baseball practice, football practice, making sure they have breakfast and lunch and, you know, all the things that 3 growing boys need. And for her and I to be able to hit the road. And man, we've got a lot of great friends on the road. We've hung out with the Tharps. We've hung out with B. Hyde, A-Mart, Rick Clun, Swindles. I mean, we have hung out with some awesome people on the road, and it's just it's a little RV community we have going on out there, and it's a blast.
You're bass fishing gypsies. That's our theme song, actually. I don't know if you heard that coming in. It's called Fishing Gypsy, and you are the perfect depiction of a fishing gypsy. That's awesome, dude.
It's pretty cool, man. I mean, it's really been pretty cool for Gerald and I to reconnect. You know, when I first started fishing tournaments, Gerald Swindle actually came up and introduced himself to me after I'd won my very first Bassmaster tournament. And you know Gerald is Gerald. And I mean,
Sure.
He come up just full of himself, introduced himself, you know, told me he was going to be the next big thing. And we hit it off great. We traveled together for a few years, but there came a point in time where, you know, I started traveling with Crete and Littner and different things happened and really hadn't got to hang out with Gerald and Leanne, but it's been really cool to get that relationship back up and rolling, man.
Nice. And you still haven't been able to talk Kevin and Sherry into joining the band of gypsies,
Oh,
have
we're
you?
getting close. In fact, the last time I hung out with Kevin, he actually was a little upset at me. He says that Sherry has just about convinced him that it is time.
Yeah, if you remember, I was there,
Yeah,
and he was
we
kind of
saw
mad.
that.
Yeah, he was mad you brought that up. That was right after he told Ryan he didn't know how to fish.
Yeah, he told me I suck at fishing, and all
Yeah.
I do is throw Senkos.
Yeah, that was right after that. That was right after that. Hey, let's get into Table Rock, man. Let's talk about the rock, okay? Now, first off, there's a big rumor going around, and I need you to dispel this rumor first off, Mike.
Most rumors can be dispelled.
Yes, okay, and we're relying on you. The Bass Fishing Galaxy is relying on you. Now, there's a horrible rumor going around that you actually won this tournament because you saw Jeff Crete he was yelling at seagulls and flailing his arms violently in the middle of the lake. And you happened to go over there to save Jeff Crete and stumbled upon the winning fish on Table Rock. Is that true or false?
Well, there's almost a little truth to that. I was actually running down the lake the second day of practice, and there is this massive flock of seagulls diving.
Remember that band, Mike?
I fished Table Rock enough to know that when gulls dive, something's happening. So I start to shut down, and as I shut down, I look over and I see a boat. And I'm like, oh, I can't shut down. I don't want to give anything away. So I run back in this pocket. Well, like 2 minutes later, Jeff Creek comes running. He's the boat sitting there. He's like, I saw you stop to check them birds. And I'm like, I didn't check them, dude. I just started to slow down. He's like, man, you know that's how it's going to go down. And that's exactly what happened, dude. And, we talked about it. I feel Creed he was as dialed in as I was. I truly believe he just had a rough first day and didn't get around the right fish.
Yeah, and Crete's a phenomenal fisherman. There's no doubt about it. No,
especially that type of fishing. I mean, he's as good as anybody when it comes to that.
Yeah, no doubt. The Table Rock deal. I mean, yeah, I think you, like a lot of other guys, kind of went into that deal thinking it was going to be a bank beater, didn't you?
I absolutely did. We were there 2 years ago for the Bassmaster Elite Series, and there were big ones on the bank in certain sections of the lake. Now, there was places on the lake you couldn't get a bite, but I really felt like, that was going to be the deal. And I spent the first 2.5 days of practice pretty much beating the bank, and I could catch, 10, 10.5, 11-pound limits 2 or 3 times a day on a rock crawler, on a jig, a variety of different baits. But the big ones just never showed up during practice on the bank. So I really felt like it was going to take something different.
Yeah, and you found it. Yeah, thanks to Jeff Crete flailing his arms and yelling at seagulls.
That's pretty much how it went down.
See, we found it. It was true.
One of those deals.
We've unlocked it.
I lost you a minute. There you are, Mike.
I lost you there for a minute too.
Okay,
I guess
I found you
the
again.
internet. Perfect, is it?
Yeah, it's not a perfect beast, but hey, you kind of had a 3-prong approach to your victory at Table Rock. Tell us about that little 3-prong approach.
It really was the third day of practice. I went out not intending to stay out any past about 2:00. I wanted to cut the day short, get ready, but I went back out. I cranked my rock crawler around. I caught the same deal. I caught a 10 or 12-pound limit, and I was on my way in, and those seagulls that you're talking about were diving violently in a place that Crete and I have spent a lot of time, right at the mouth of Beardsley Creek. And the cool thing about it, it's actually where I grew up fishing. And I had a co-angler with me that day, and I'm like, hey, dude, I said, have you ever thrown an underspin? He's like, no, I don't even know what that is. And I'm like, oh, come on, you know what that is. And he said, well, I got some road runners. Is that the same thing? And I'm like, yeah, let's go over here and see what's going on. So I run over to the mouth of Beardsley. I shut down. I graph around with my Garmin electronics a little bit. I see a ton of fish on the graph, a lot of bait. And like the second cast this co-angler makes with his underspin, he catches like a 3.25-pound fat largemouth. And I'm like, this is the best fish I've seen almost all week. So I graph around a little bit more, and I'm using my Panoptics, and I see a big school of bait, and I throw my underspin out there with this new little Cabela's 3.4 swimmer. This is the deal right here.
That's sexy.
With the 3.4 swimmer, and I throw it out there, and I catch about a 3.5-pound spotted bass. And I strap my rods down on the deck, and I said, Billy, I'm done. And he's like, what do you mean you're done? And I'm like, I've seen all I need to see.
That's awesome.
And he's like, what are you talking about? You're done for the day? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, it's only 11:15. And I'm like, yeah, but I said, if this doesn't work, I've got enough other stuff going on that something will happen. And needless to say, I mean, it all just fell into place. The first day I pulled up on that stretch, I had a limit by like 9:20, caught 14 or 15 keepers. I actually left it and ran around the whole lake the rest of the day and only culled a couple times. The second day, they showed up huge. The big largemouth bit, I caught a couple big largemouth on the old Spromic stick.
Oh,
I caught
there's
them
the
on a
McStickler.
table rock, ghost table rock shad, and then on this cute little. We actually call this IU shad, and it was a big player. And I caught a ton of fish again on the old 3.4 Cabela swimmer.
Nice.
And then the third day, conditions got tough, man. I mean, the wind blew like 15 to 20 mile an hour. I had to fish for suspended fish because I couldn't really focus on the trees that I wanted to fish. And fortunately, I caught a limit of spotted bass that got me through the deal.
Nice. And the spots are easy sometimes, aren't they? I mean, they're a good fallback fish.
Dude, about the time you think spots are going to be easy, that's when they absolutely just shaft you.
They do.
But when you really need them to show up, a lot of times they will. And fortunately, that final day, they were out roaming open water. I could just use my Panoptics to scan around and look for bait. And I was just throwing that 3.4 swimmer under the bait schools, and fortunately caught the spots I caught that final day.
So
I got to ask you about that underspin. Sorry.
Go ahead.
That underspin, as someone who has not thrown it very much, what is the technique with that? Are you lifting it? Are you just straight reeling it? What's the retrieve?
That's something we probably really don't need to talk about. The big deal with an underspin is figuring out the depth that the fish are relating to. And that's the cool thing about the Garmin Panoptics is you can look out in front of the boat and see where the fish are at, where the bait's at. And some days it is a lift and fall retrieve. Other days it is just to throw it out, let it fall to the depth it needs to be at, and just slowly wind it back to the boat. It's one of those baits that you really have to key on where the bait and where the fish are in the water column. And when you can actually see your bait 80, 90 feet out in front of the boat and keep it at the proper depth, dude, it's the closest thing to cheating I've ever been a part of. I'm sorry, but it is.
And the spots loved it.
And the spots loved it. The largemouth ate it. The smallmouth ate it. I mean, I had a mixed bag the first 2 days, and then the final day I had all spots. But the first 2 days I had spotted bass, largemouth, and smallmouth. So, they all love it. I mean, that's pretty much all there is to it.
Wow. I know a lot of guys that love that bait. I mean, look at what Casey Ashley did with it just not too long ago.
Absolutely. I mean, Casey, and the thing that's unique about the two different lakes, at Hartwell, it seems like you have to throw that underspin out and let it fall all the way to the bottom and just crawl it. Where at Table Rock, the fish really tend to suspend more, and it's all about the forage. Hartwell has those blueback herring.
Right.
Blueback herring come up at night, but during the day when the sun gets up, they go down in the bottom of the ditches. So the fish follow them down into the ditches. Table Rock is just the opposite. When the sun comes out, that's when the threadfin and the gizzard shad come up in the water column. And typically guys fish too deep when it comes to fishing Table Rock when the fish are really feeding on bait.
Wow. Hey, Mike, we're on this Facebook Live deal right now, and we have some questions for you from the gallery.
Let's see if we can answer them.
Yeah, I hope you can. JP, hi. What do we got from Mike McClelland?
What's up, Mike? The first question is they want to know what size line you're throwing with that underspin.
In most cases, I throw 8-pound or 10-pound sunline shooter. I just feel like, you want the maximum amount of feel you can get. So shooter is by far the premium fluorocarbon that Sunline builds. I mean, all of them are great, but the shooter gives you the maximum feel. It casts phenomenal. So generally it's 8 to 10 pound test. At Table Rock, fortunately, I was able to throw 10 about the whole tournament.
That's a great question. Who asked that question?
That was Jan Lopez.
Yoan
Lopez.
Yoan, excellent.
That was a great question, Jan.
Yeah.
We also got another one from David. He's wondering if qualifying for next year's Classic is going to change your approach for the rest of the season.
Ooh. Yes.
You see this smile right now, don't you?
You're beaming, bro. You're beaming.
Yeah. You have no idea how being qualified for the 18 Classic relieves all of the pressure for the rest of the year. I mean, I'm not going to just go out and swing for the fences every tournament, but I'm definitely going to be able to free up the way I fish and not just go fish for points. I mean, being able to go out and throw big baits, fish to win in every event, it's going to be an awesome feeling. And, I think, what am I, the second guy that knows he's qualified for the 18 Classic? It's pretty
Right.
dead cool.
That's outstanding.
That's awesome. Man.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Have you this is your second time on the show here, and we kind of did a Mike McClelland history lesson last time, but I'd like to look at it in retrospective here, Mike, and you've had a pretty damn good career, dude. You're a fortunate man. 8 first place wins. You won about $2 million. Okay, $2 million bucks.
Pretty awesome. Chasing little green, brown, and spotted bass around the United States.
It's something else. And here's another fact that I don't know if you know, but
Okay.
I need you to remember this, okay?
All right.
I need you to remember this. Do you know how many pounds of bass that you have caught in your BASS career?
All I can say is thousands.
JP High, how many has he caught?
6,520 pounds.
Is that not pretty incredible?
That's a lot of pounds.
6,520 pounds
That's a lot of meat. That's a lot of meat.
Wow.
It's a lot of water in the weigh bags.
Holy cow. I mean, you don't need to worry about him spitting up sockeyes and gizzards.
Yeah, it's a drop in the pan.
It'll cost you a little money every now and then.
Now remember that, because next time I'm going to ask you, and then you gotta take account of your cumulative weight now.
Oh, I just got to keep track of this.
Yeah,
Yes.
So put that in your phone or something, Mike. I know you just got a new phone.
All right. Yeah, I did get a new phone. You're right.
So let's, you guys are going up to the Bend next. You're heading to T-Bend.
Dude, do you have any idea what's going to be going on at T-Bend when we get there?
Hog snatching.
Slugfest.
A shad spawn. Do you know the best way to catch a bass during a shad spawn?
Well, tell us, Mike.
It is on a War Eagle half-ounce double willow leaf double nickel spinnerbait, dude.
I agree.
What do you think about that?
I think that's outstanding.
I think that's fortunate, seeing as you probably have a couple.
I think I know Keith pretty well over there at War Eagle, and I think I'll have plenty of half-ounce double nickel spinnerbaits to go to Toledo Bend with.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you're a spinnerbait fisherman, man, and a lot of guys, a lot of you elite guys, a lot of the guys on the FLW tour, you throw spinnerbaits, okay? But it's kind of it's not as talked about as much as it was back in the day, let's say. But it's still being done. What's up with that? Swim jigs, swim baits, chatterbaits.
I think the biggest thing that comes to mind then, and Rick Clunn almost summed it up at Texoma last year, and it hurt my feelings. You guys just gave me some credit for knowing how to catch them on a spinnerbait. Rick Clunn almost won Toledo, or not Toledo, but Lake Texoma last year on a spinnerbait.
Right.
He actually got up on stage and said there are no anglers fishing the Elite Series today that understand the quality and the value of a spinnerbait. And I'm like, whoa. I caught some fish on a spinnerbait one time.
You took a little offense to that. Ricky kind of hit you where it hurt, didn't he?
And I'll have to admit, excuse me, there's been a lot of baits come into the marketplace that have definitely taken the attention away from the spinnerbait. But you mark my words right here today, there are going to be some tournament events this year and in the next few years where a spinnerbait comes back into the big picture of things. A lot of these younger anglers don't understand how effective a spinnerbait can be because we've got so many cool natural-looking swim baits and variety of different things. But in all honesty, a spinnerbait's a mainstay, and there's very few tournaments that I don't have one tied on in the rod box or laying on the deck when I start to practice for an event.
I totally agree, and I can shamelessly and proudly also say that, that War Eagle spinnerbait, you and the Stray Cast team and yourself were members of the War Eagle team, and there's not a time that I go out fishing that I don't have some variation of one of Keith's baits tied on, man.
That's the whole thing with what War Eagle does is the customization. I mean, you have got every possible scenario available, whether it be Colorado blades, Indiana blades, finesse spinner baits, screaming eagles, whether they're, half ounce or 3/4 ounce screaming eagles. Keith's got it all. I mean, he's got the whole gamut covered. And the whole thing about a War Eagle is the vibration is completely different from any other bait you'll ever pick up. And in my opinion, that is the biggest key is the vibration that bait's putting off. And a War Eagle's just by far the best. It also runs truer and straighter than any other spinnerbait you'll ever tie on, and that's a big key to catching them.
Yeah, that thin wire is really key. That's awesome. Hey, you mentioned the finesse spinnerbait. I have a whole bunch of them coming to me, and I got to ask you. Forgot to ask you a few weeks ago. What rod? What's the ideal rod for throwing that finesse?
In my opinion, for the finesse spinnerbait, I throw it on two different rods depending on the type of lake and the body of water I'm fishing. If I'm fishing a body of water that I'm up close and personal with the cover I'm fishing, whether it be bushes, boat docks. A lot of times I'll throw that little spinnerbait on my 6/8 Signature Series. It's kind of my jerkbait rod, but for that little 5/16 ounce spinnerbait, it works phenomenally well. Now, if I'm, in a position where I'm trying to make long casts with it, fishing the edge of grass lines and things of that nature, then I'm going to be throwing my 7.2 Signature Falcon rod. I'm always throwing it on a 6:3-to-1 gear ratio Cabela's reel. And most often I'm throwing it on, 16 to 18 pound Sunline fluorocarbon.
And those are like medium action rods.
Heavy.
Yeah, they're pretty much a medium action rod. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. They're mediums. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was under the impression they were medium heavies. That's what I was thinking the whole
time. Well, the one thing about it, every rod manufacturer has a little different. I guess just the way they label rods is different. To me, it's more of a medium. The 7.2 would be a medium heavy. The 6.8, I guess I would categorize as a true medium.
Gotcha. Ryan loves those Falcon rods.
I do.
He loves them.
I throw the heck out of those bukus.
They're just bad to the bone. You very seldomly ever. I mean, if anything happens to a Falcon rod, it's because myself or my co-angler has inflicted some kind of damage to it. They're just indestructible, man.
That's what. Right. And don't let Bill Dance use it.
Light as hell. Super light rod.
Hey, one more thing about War Eagle. I don't mean this to sound like an infomercial. We're just really stoked to be part of the team. But
absolutely,
Keith touches every damn bait that comes out of his garage, basically. I mean, you don't get that. You don't get that with any other bait company.
It's pretty incredible, having the relationship that I've had with Keith over the years. I mean, Keith introduced me to my very first bass club. He was the one that I very first started fishing team tournaments. And to see his facility today, I mean, when you go to that facility, now Keith, I think he's a little more laid back than he used to be, but somebody in that facility that he trusts is either assembling those baits or packaging those baits, and every one of them has the personal care and touch that you're talking about, man. It's just unreal.
Unbelievable. You don't get that everywhere. Hey, let's play a game. You want to play a game?
Let's play a game. Why not?
We're gonna play a Bassin game show right now, and this is called What's on Your Mind, Mike McClelland.
What's on my mind?
All right, so you're gonna tell me what's on your mind. No matter what pops up, you just tell me. Let's play What's on Your Mind with Bassmaster Elite Series Tour Pro Mike McClelland. I'm your host, Pat Redwick. Right here, right now, Mike McClelland. The word to you is Lion's Den. Lion's Den.
Lion's Den?
Lion's Den. What pops in your brain?
What pops in my brain? Lion's Den. Honestly, the biblical story. I mean, that's what pops into my head when I think Lion's Den.
The what story?
The Disney story.
The Bible story.
Oh, the Bible story. Gotcha. Okay, I got you.
You cut out there a little
I'm with you there. The Clown Prince. The Clown Prince.
Clown Prince.
The Clown Prince.
The clown. Man, these things are tough for me.
I know. I did this on purpose.
I don't know. Skeet Reese.
Skeet Reese. Woo! Give it up right there for Skeet. He's the Clown Prince. Yeah, good answer, Mike. Good answer. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mike, moonshine. The word is moonshine.
the Ozarks.
The
I mean, it's
Ozarks.
right there where I'm at.
You're in the heart of the country, right there.
Right here.
Moonshine
And we're
capital.
not talking about that stuff that they can sell over the counter.
Now, we're talking about the good. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the deal. The Arkansas Shuffle. The Arkansas Shuffle.
The Arkansas Shuffle. I think that's got something to do with walking some kind of a walking bait across the surface of one of these beautiful Ozarks lakes, right?
I like how you're thinking. Holy smokes. Holy smokes.
Holy smokes! I mean, I like some hot links. Holy smokes!
Okay. Thanks, holy smokes. Roadside delight. Roadside delight.
Roadside delight. Oh man, roadside delight would probably be. Man, there's just so many good roadside delights. I guess I would have to say maybe a Chili's.
A Chili's. All right. Mike McClelland. Ryan, tell Mike what he won.
That's correct.
All right, Mike. Well, thanks
You're
for
welcome.
To say.
You did awful. You did horrible on this game.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I'm not gonna-
What are the correct answers?
I don't know. We just make this stuff up as we go along. That's kind of how we do it here.
He spent hours on that.
Hey, Mike, pick an angler, a professional angler that you think that we have not seen their full potential yet. Who is an angler that we have not seen their full potential yet?
It's bad. I mean, Jared Littner is by far one of the most talented anglers that I've got to spend a lot of time with and that I've seen his true capabilities. And it just hadn't happened for him yet. But this year's Classic at Lake Conroe, you never know. It might be the one.
The milkman.
Yeah,
The milkman.
It could happen right there. If you after the 2018 season, after you win the 2018 Bassmaster Classic,
Yeah, I like your thinking. I'm
I'm with you. I'm with you right here. We're sharing the wavelengths. Could you retire?
I can't. I love to compete way too much. I really do. At this point in time in my career, I think I've got another, 10 or 12 years in me. I really do, and I just don't know that I could stop competing even with a Classic win.
Dude,
Heart of a champion.
Love to hear that. Yeah. Absolutely love to hear that. Hey, we're right up against the break here, Mike, and I just first off, give me some advice. Give me some life advice. I mean, me personally. Give me some advice.
I'm here to help you.
Okay, give me some advice. Just give me some random advice to help me improve myself.
I see 3 big ribeyes that my son just took off the grill, so I would say go have a ribeye when this show's over.
Well, I think I could probably be in Bella Vista.
Here, take a look at this. Does this not? Can you see that?
Oh my
boy.
God!
Yeah. Oh, we just about lost.
Holy cow!
Are those not fine-looking ribeyes?
That's outstanding.
My son just pulled off the grill, and I'm getting pretty hungry, Pat.
Me too. After that, I'll be in Bella Vista. You didn't yell at me for saying Bella Vista this time.
Eventually, you just got to take it the way you say
it. Mike, any parting words for your fans or your sponsors before we get out of here?
I just appreciate everybody that supported me, fans and sponsors throughout the course of my career. It's crazy to think that this is my 20th year chasing fish around the United States, getting to enjoy my dream. I've been so blessed, and be sure and check out my my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram, and just support my sponsors like they support the industry, man.
Absolutely. Mike, thank you again for the support that you show to this Stray Cast show, and thanks for being a buddy, man. It's nice to say that.
Cool, you're a cool dude. I tell people every time I get invited to this show, this is the funnest show I have an opportunity to be a part of, and that's the reason I'm always here for you, Pat.
Thank you so much, Mike. Safe travels. Knock them out on the rest of the derbies and get ready to win that 2018 derby that we talked about.
I'm planning already for it, Pat.
Adios, amigos. That's Mike McClelland, Bassmaster Elite Series Touring Pro champion, fresh off a Table Rock. Hey, don't go anywhere. We're coming back with Randy Howell. Get your Facebook questions ready for Randy Howell. It's going to be a time right here on Stray Cats Outdoor Cartoon Television. Put the power poles down. You ain't going nowhere. PH Custom Lures by Phil Hunter, quickly becoming the most sought-after custom balsa baits in the industry, from the Little Hunter to the Squeaky P. These baits are pure quality, handcrafted, hand-carved, and hand-painted. But most importantly, they flat-out catch fish. PH Custom Lures has a bait for any situation in a magnitude of colors. Check out the old school, straighter, and PH Custom series at phcustomlures.com. That's phcustomlures.com.
Stank's Bait Company has been hand pouring and injecting soft plastic baits since 2009. Each bait is hand poured with you in mind, and each bait is injected with fish catching juice. They've got over 20 baits to choose from. And Stank's Bait gives you unparalleled custom colors, and they'll match the hatch of your local lake forage. Plus, they feature soft plastic custom airbrushing, and now they offer their services to you and your soft baits. So pretty you'll want to frame it. But don't, because the fish aren't going to see it on your wall, and they're not going to smell it till you get it in the water. You can find them online at stanksbaitco.com or at Tackle Warehouse, Fisherman's Central, Sportsman's Direct, and DNR Sports. Stank's Baits. Get 'em.
Welcome back to Stray Cats Outdoor Cartoon Television. I'm your host, Pat Renwick. This is Ryan Popcorn Whitaker.
Hello.
And we are super stoked right now to bring to you the entire Bassin Galaxy. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Randy Howell. Yeah. What up, Randino?
What's up?
What's going on, dude? It's about time you come on this show.
Man, you got to work for a living sometimes. You know, I don't ever get to come on here. I'm always working, man.
Yeah, Bassin ain't easy, Randy, you know?
No, it ain't easy, man. I just need to grow some hair like you got, man. I bet I'd make more money.
Yeah, you know, that could be your gimmick. You know what I'm saying, man?
If I could get something to flow on that Triton when I'm running real fast in the
you
lane.
would look outstanding.
He's aerodynamic, though.
You'll
go fast. You go slow with him in the boat.
Yeah.
Oh, the hair holding you back.
I'll weigh it down. You know, me and Seth Fighter, your other Daiwa boy. You know,
yeah, he's my boy.
Yeah,
I like him, man.
We weigh it down. Randy, man, 25 years, dude. Come on, it seems like just a flash in the pan. But you've been at this 25 años. That's
Yeah,
years.
it really, if you think about it, I guess it is 25 years because I started in bass, the invitationals right out of high school when I turned 18 and qualified my first year on the invitationals to be on back then it was called the old BP Top 100 back in the old days, and started that at 19 years old. So, I fished till I was 23 before I made the classic. So, my only two sponsors were MasterCard and Visa, and they were high interest sponsors.
Nice. No, that's the first time we heard that one.
That was good.
Hey, I'm going to tell you my first recollection. This is my first vision of Randy Howell, and I don't mean to sound creepy about this or nothing, but the first time I remember you was back on the FLW tour, and I believe it was a sight fishing derby. And I want to say it was like Beaver or something. It's back when Jerry and Tommy were announcing back in the day. And I remember you, dude, like you were doing the sight fishing deal, and you go flying from the front of the deck like a gazelle, like to the back of the deck. You jump on the outboard, and you're sight fishing off of the outboard, dude. Like, I mean, you did not miss a beat. I'm like, there's no way that I could have done that and not fell in the water. I see you there with that sight fishing derby. That Florida Keys hat going on. And
Yeah.
Do you remember what I'm talking about? What was that derby, you guys? Was it?
Yeah, I think you cut out on my end there for a minute. But I got the last part and the first part of what you said. I think the FLW tournament, I bet it was it might have been at Beaver Lake, Arkansas. Do you think it was there?
That's what I said. And did you hear the part where I compared you to a gazelle?
No, I didn't hear that.
Yes, yeah.
That's good though.
You did. You hopped from the front of the deck to the back onto the outboard. Perfect. Boom. You were just like boom, planted and whoop, working them spots, dude.
Yeah.
It was
that's
awesome.
back.
Okay.
I remember that's back before they made a rule against standing on the engine. You can't fish on the engine anymore. But back then we could do it.
I mean,
the only other time I ever saw that was when Ish did it in 2006 at
that's
Amistad.
dangerous right there.
And that was like a major meltdown.
Yeah,
but that
Ish
was,
should not do that.
No.
Ish too big to get on the motor.
Yeah,
not a gazelle.
He's not a gazelle like Randy Howell. But I was like, damn, this dude's pretty cool, man. I mean, that's a pretty cool move right there. Then I start paying attention to Randy Howell. I'm paying attention. I'm reading your file now. You know what I'm saying? And then 2004, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I kind of Rain Man this stuff sometimes, but 2004 Dardanelle, dude. How cool! It was just so cool as a bass fishing fan to watch you win that. What were those? Were E-Fit? What were those then?
Yeah, that was the Elite 50. That was the inaugural Elite 50. The first one that Bass did there was in 2004. I think it was April of 04. And I had won an FLW tournament in '98. Won a $100,000 event. That was my first big win. Was FLW in '98. But that was my first Bassmaster win, and that was the first year. The only time, like 4 tournaments there that year that they didn't pay a big grand prize. So I won $5,000 for my first Bassmaster event.
Oh, wow!
Then the next year they paid $100,000. Then the next year they called them majors and paid $250,000.
Yeah.
So
it
was that was a bummer, but at least I did win the inaugural event. And it's a good memory, and man, it was a great event. I actually caught them swimming a jig like I had learned to do here in Alabama when I moved here. It was awesome. A fun event.
Yeah, those majors were awesome. I wish they'd go back to those with the
I
whole courses. I think didn't Peter T win 2 of those things?
I think he may have, and Mark Davis won 2 out of the 4 that year.
Yeah, that's right.
He won 2 of them that year, and only won $10,000 for 2 events. And then the other guys all won the big money later. So,
now, unfortunately, you were the guinea pig for that event because you only won $5,000. Just like back to your Daiwa teammate Seth Fighter, he was the guinea pig for the AOY Derby, and he only won like $60 for winning that.
Luckily a guy carved him a trophy out of with a chainsaw and some wood up there. I think made him have a trophy anyway.
That was awesome, man.
Yeah, I got to share my first Randy Howell story.
Please
my
do.
I think it had to have been 05, 06. And it was just, I think you were fishing some docks. And man, you were freaking out over how high your line jumped, and you're just like, man, that ain't a big one, but that line jumped, And I was like, this guy loves fishing.
Were you my partner that day?
No, I was not. I saw it on TV.
How'd you know that then? Did you hear that? Where'd I say that at?
It was on TV. It was on the show.
Oh, was it on the show? Okay.
Yeah, and I was just like, man, this guy loves fishing. I'm gonna watch him more. I was I do the same thing.
I used to love it a lot. I used to love it a lot. Like Charlie. I mean, Charlie Hartley is hands down the most fanatical lover of catching a bass or a fish of any kind of anybody. And I used to think I was until I met Charlie and got to know him. But he's hands down, he loves it more than anybody I've ever seen.
It shows, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Randy, we know some things about you. I mean, we know that you are a devout Christian. Mm-hmm. We know that you are a devout family man. We know that you are a bass fishing fanatic. We know that you are an amazing bass angler. Tell the world something that we don't know about Randy Howell. Tell us something.
Man, I'm pretty simple. If you know all that, that's pretty much all I've got, man. I'm passionate about several things in life, and that's faith and family and fishing, and that's the three F's, and that's the order they need to be in: faith, family, and fishing. And I'm very blessed and very thankful to do what I do, and I love it, and I always have. Had a lot of years of struggle like at the beginning, but as the years have progressed, we've been we've climbed the ladder very slowly. Me and my wife, Robin. May 16th this year will be our 25th wedding anniversary. We've been married 25 years this year, and she's done it with me the whole time. We're 43 years old, and we got married 18 years old, so we've done it together, learned the business together, learned the sport, and we really enjoy what we do, and our boys are doing it with us. They're 11 and 15, they're doing what we do and traveling. We're getting into making this little fishing show called The Catch with Randy and Robin, which is a web-based show that hopefully will grow into something better in the future. But that's what it's all about, is having the platform and using it for good stuff, and that's what I try to do.
What else do you need besides the 3 F's?
That's right.
It's covered. It's covered right there. That's outstanding, man. Hey, we're on this Facebook Live deal right now, Randy. We're doing this on straightcast.net as well as the Facebook Live, and we have some questions for you from some of your fans. JP, what do we got going on for Randy?
What's up, Randy? We got I believe this is a young collegiate angler, Laura Ann Fauché.
Fauché. That's Laura Ann, baby. She's tough, man. She's the Alabama fishing queen.
Nice.
Well, she says she loves seeing your wife catching huge bass, pond hopping, and fishing with the boys while you are competing. Do you think Ramen will ever compete again now that the boys are older?
Well, that's a good question. And Laura Ann, for any of y'all if y'all look into the fishing archives in college, and Laura Ann, she had the greatest career for probably the first lady in the sport, maybe in college fishing, to come through. And I went to her signing. She signed a scholarship with SCAD down in Georgia for Savannah College of Art and Design, and so she's fishing for them, representing them good. And she's a great angler herself, great sweet girl. But thank you for the question, Laura Ann. But Robin, she loves to fish just like Laura Ann too. And there's a difference. Some people that just love to fish, and people that really have a gift to fish. Laura Ann's got a gift, and she looks natural, and she looks like she's got what it takes to be a serious competitive angler. And that's how Robin is. Robin's the same way. Me and her grew up in high school together. We dated in high school, got married a year out of school, and she was, MVP in everything she ever did in high school: basketball, softball, and volleyball. And so she was so competitive when she got out fishing with me. Competitive is how she fished the women's tour, the old Bassingale tour.
Yeah.
She was a 96 Bassingale Rookie of the Year and won and made the Classic 2 years in a row. And then we decided to start having kids and had Laker, a couple years after that. So we've competed together in team tournaments all our life and done good with that. We won a boat together back when we were first starting out, and that's kind of how we got out of debt a little bit as we were climbing the ladder. But awesome. Robin will probably not compete individually anymore, but me and her may compete some, team wise. But she definitely is loving to get to fish more as the boys have gotten older now, getting to fish with me more like we always used to do.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Absolutely awesome. Well, JP, we got anything else going on there?
What's your favorite spring color to throw and which lure?
Ooh.
Favorite spring color to throw and which lure? Boy, that's kind of like saying what kind of ice cream do I like? It's like, man, that's a hard question. For crankbait, I'm a big crankbait. Everybody knows that. And my howler won the classic on howler.
Whoop, we're froze up a little bit there, Randy. Can you hear us? Well, Randy froze up.
Randy!
Come on back, Randy. Come on back from the basket.
Good mannequin challenge. All right,
Don't
start talking.
He nailed it, didn't he? He nailed the mannequin challenge.
Let's
We're
get him
calling
back
Randy
out.
right back here on the Skyping machine.
We back. We back. Yep.
There you are. Can you hear me, Randy?
Going out. Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
I lost a video here, but I can hear you now.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, and we knew you were going to say the howler on that question.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, we're losing Randy again. Let's see here.
It's that Gunnersville connection.
It is. That always happens to us in Gunnersville for some reason. It seems to.
I thought he was on the good side of the lake.
Fishing's so good that they don't need cell phones.
There it goes.
Let's try it again.
Calling Randy Howell. Or to Randy Howell. Come back,
That
Randy
was
Howell.
bizarre. It was so solid.
It was. It was like right on,
Like
right
the best
on.
audio we've ever had.
And then all of a sudden, boom. We're beaming into Randy's flat top right now.
Randy.
Randy, can you come in?
Paging Mr. Randy.
Well, sorry, Michael Ford. He said his favorite spring lure is the howler. In that red color that won the classic.
That won the classic. How else could it not be? Absolutely. Here we go. Trying Randy Howell again. We're hoping for a Bassin miracle. Uh-oh, he's having trouble with his internet. Let's. You want to try and get Randy on the Google phone? Let's do that right there. We'll call him up on the Googler phone.
What's up, Pat? How you doing?
I'm doing good.
You doing good?
Yeah. Hey, thanks for
It's
asking.
just we can just talk to each other.
Yeah. Hi, Rye. How you been?
I've been okay. I was sick, and now I'm not.
I'm glad you're not. You know what? I miss fishing already.
Yeah, I know. We got winter again in March.
We got teased
It's kinda
a little
dumb.
bit there by the. We got Randy back.
I can see him.
We got Randy.
I was gonna say, hey.
There he is.
Hey, Robin.
She come out and try to help me get it back going again, but I guess I didn't do nothing wrong. It just quit.
Yeah.
No, it was you, Randy.
It was the Gunnersville connection.
Robin's got the magic touch. Just admit it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
We know. Okay, so where we left Randy in our last episode was Randy was telling us about the red howler crankbait and how that's your favorite spring color, and of course it is.
Then I went from that I start with a crankbait, and then my other 2-part deal is the Cinco, and the Yamamoto 5-inch green pumpkin purple copper is kind of my favorite color. Any of the green pumpkin colors, I catch them, but that color is kind of my favorite one. Green pumpkin purple green or green pumpkin purple copper. Throw that anywhere the crankbait quits working and they bite the Cinco. So that's my spring favorite right there.
That's the combo. Awesome. Hey, Randy, tell me who Bill Morgan is. Tell the world who Bill Morgan is.
Man, Bill Morgan was my first bait sponsor. He started Hog Collar HAWG, Hog Collar spinner baits in Western North Carolina, Clemens, North Carolina. He actually made the first spinnerbait. The spinnerbait Hank Parker won the classic on in 1989. It was called Hank Parker's Classic Spinnerbait. Bill sold that to Mans, so Mans could help Hank Parker mass produce it when he won the classic. And Bill mentored David Fritz, Gerald Beck, David Wright. I mean, a lot of great Western North Carolina anglers even Marty Stone. He did a lot of stuff with Marty Stone back when Marty was fishing. And Bill was like a mentor to me, kind of like a father figure a lot to me. And he started sponsoring me when I was 15 years old, and really helped me throughout my whole life. And I've stayed with Hog Crawler, even though he sold out as he retired, and Lunker Lure bought Hog Crawler, and I've stayed with Lunker Lure and Hog Crawler for all these years. So 25 or more years I've used Hog Crawler spinner baits. And Bill was doing great, and out of the blue he got a crazy infection and was in the hospital. And I got to talk to him and thought it was going to be all right. And a few days later, he passed away back in probably back in the early part of spring. And luckily, we had a little gap there. Me and Robin were able to fly to North Carolina and go to his funeral and be there for that and his family. But Bill was a great, great man,
Absolutely.
left a great legacy of family and helped faith, and helped a lot of people in his life.
And I believe he's kind of an unsung hero of the crankbait galaxy.
He is. How did you know him? Or how did you know about him?
I'm a crankbait freak, so I know
Okay.
that Fritz and those guys used to get some of them special baits. You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying? You know what
Yep.
I'm saying?
Yeah, Bill taught me all about that when I grew up at Lake Gaston in North Carolina and guided on Gaston and Kerr, Bugs Island. Bill always come up and fished with me, and I'd go up to High Rock and he'd fish with me, and he taught me a lot about the just hydrodynamics of crankbaits. And he was a brilliant engineering mind, but he was a good old country boy fisherman, and that mix made him so unique, and he was so humble. Nobody ever knew how awesome he was. And that's one of the other things that I love so much about him. He taught me about was humility. And he made so many great baits for me over the years, and he really taught me about confidence in fishing. And if it wasn't for Bill Morgan, I guarantee I wouldn't be sitting here as a successful angler that made it. I could have been a statistic, never made it on tour had I not known Bill Morgan for sure.
That's outstanding. Wow. That's amazing right there. That's the story of the week on Stray Cast.
I'm glad I was educated too, because he's responsible for a few of my first bass with that spinnerbait. I mean, that thing hit Walmart when I was probably like 8 or 9 years old.
No doubt.
I was all over it.
Now was one of those special crankbaits? Was that one of the baits that you were throwing there on Dardanelle?
Let's see. Back in 04. No, that was actually that was a little homemade bait called a Dean Helton.
Okay.
He's out of East. It was a little East Tennessee crankbait,
Gotcha.
And that was another older man that's been a old flat-sided East Tennessee lure maker for a lot of years. And I met him, back in the '90s, and kind of got to know him too. Never knew him real well like I did Bill Morgan, but Dean always made baits for me and sent them to me. Kind of when Bill was getting older and Bill had quit making baits a lot, Dean made some baits for me too.
Gotcha. Isn't it amazing the magic of some of the baits that we cherish as bass fishermen? I mean,
Yeah.
we have. I mean, I know you love your Livingston, and we have a crankbait sponsor too. But there's just something special about a special crankbait. It's something that always comes through for you.
I know, and and it's weird because confidence is a huge deal, and it's amazing how I've developed confidence with sound, not a commercial for Livingston, but I've gotten so much confidence in sound tech, not hear it for the fish, because I see how they react in tanks when I do Bass Pro seminars, and I see how fish respond to that sound, even the same bait, and I turn the sound off and throw it in the water versus how they react with sound on. That's why I feel like I feel handicapped if I don't have sound in a bait. And so I've tried to get Livingston making everything that I would possibly want. And I mean, you can see right here, you look right over here on the camera, that whole wall right there. That is all old boxes of crankbaits, and it's mostly crankbaits, and all my wood baits are in that box, and they've sat on that shelf really now in the last 2 years and not even been touched. I mean, and I've got special baits in those boxes that I know catch fish, but I don't even carry them out anymore because I'm so, bound by the sound technology. I want to be using something. I've fished so many of all my other baits now that I know I can catch fish with them, and I've developed my confidence there. And that's all it takes. You have to branch out and try to, so much new stuff is made so much better than the old stuff, but we get stuck on old stuff because our confidence won't allow us to look for new stuff. So that's one thing I'm proud that I've learned to do is move forward with the technology that we have now available. And I still love those old antique baits that sit in my shelf. I still will never get rid of them. I want to always hold on to them anyway.
I'm the same way, man. I got boxes full of old Bagleys that I'll never get rid of.
I know, I do too, man. They're loaded over here. I've got Bagleys, lures, hog collars. I've got old Craig Powers from up in Tennessee.
Oh,
I
yeah,
got
CP, Bo.
Yeah, old CPs. I mean, I've got old Poes, and I mean, I've got everything in the world. I'm a junkie like that, but luckily I don't have to depend on them now like I used to. Used to, I'd freak out or panic if you lure up or something. Now I don't have to worry about it anymore.
You got the stock of the Livingstons, and it's the confidence, and that's what works for you. That's outstanding. Hey, yeah, I think we have some more questions for you from your fans. What's going on, JP? Who's on deck?
Well, you talked about being a big believer in the sound in the Livingstons. Are you a big believer in the hydrowave? Are you using the hydrowave?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, hydrowave. I've been using, you go way back to, you guys will remember the Biosonics was the first sound unit we had on the boats, Biosonics. And Van Dam has been kind of the big component of that all these years. He's been into it. And then when it kind of went under, Van Dam and I think Jeff Crete and Gene
Eisenman
kind of bought and started that company back, called it Hydrowave. So I've had one on my boat every year since one has been available, and that's one of the reasons I believe I've seen so many times, and I'm not even sponsored by them, and I mean so many times I've watched fish come up right in front of my boat, right beside my boat, and chase bait out of the water, do crazy stuff, especially smallmouth up north. One of the years that I almost won Oneida back in 2012 or 11 or something like that. I had a hydrowave running up there on the front of the boat, and these smallmouth were dead shut off forever. And all of a sudden, they chased bait up right by my trolling motor, and they were busting all around my trolling motor. And I still couldn't make them bite hardly, but they were right there because of the hydrowave. It caught them up, and it got them stirred up. And finally, I caught two more, finished my limit, and almost won the tournament. And that had a lot to do with the hydrowave. So I believe in it. And most of the hydrowave sounds are computer-generated sounds. And Livingston, Texas State University records the true sounds of every living thing under the water. They got over 30 sounds, Texas State University, and Livingston gets their buys their sounds from the biology department there. So the sound is a true recording of what the sound those bait fish make. The distress sound, the shad schooling sound when they're getting busted and chased by a predator fish, and then the crawfish clicking sound. I've actually seen video of how they record that. They actually go down in a rocky stream and turn rocks over and get crawfish to stand up like this, and they prod them, and the little pitchfork prod that has a speaker on it, and they give off this tick 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 sound of a defensive sound, and they record that, and then they speed it up and make it louder, of course, and put it in the bait. And I mean, I'm telling you, it's the coolest thing in the world. That's why you still got to have a bait that works good, that looks good, and all that. But when you add sound to it, you're not going to catch every fish don't just start biting, of course, automatically all the time that you're going to catch them. I would win every tournament, so I'm not saying that, but I know it gives me more of an advantage than without sound, without a doubt.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And it's no laser lure. Remember that one for a couple years with the laser shooting on?
That's right. And when I first started with Livingston right off the bat, I believed I got into the sound deal, and they had some of the older baits and some of their first original baits. They had light, they had a LED light in them, and they still have a lot of the old Norman crankbait molds. That's what they kind of used early on. It looked like the DD22, DD14. Those baits still had light up eyes and different things like that. And so when I got involved, I said, you got to go away from the light, because there's too many gimmicks with lasers and lights, and it's just people they're not going to believe in light. It's hard enough to get them to believe in sound, but I know without a doubt how sound works. And it's cool that every time I go work a show that has a fish tank and I can get up there and show it in person, it blows everybody's mind, because it's so cool to watch how they react to that when they hear that sound. They immediately, just like you whistle to your dog across the the garage or something, the dog hears the whistle, their ears perk up and they take off and they come running to you. And that's how they do in that tank. As soon as that sound pops on, every fish in there
Boom,
turns their attention. And they're like, what is that? And they take off running up here to it, and they start nipping at it, pulling at it, and kind of being curious about it. And that's how I know it's going to help you catch fish.
And any advantage that you can get, you got to take it as a pro
Yeah, you got to
angler.
take it. Even if I catch one bass on any given day, each day, because I had that sound in my bait, even if it's just one, that's one more that could have made a difference in winning 10 grand, 100 grand, or 300 grand in the classic. So you got to try it.
Yep. Speaking of classic, you're getting ready for a real big derby, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. How you feeling, Randy?
Man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good tonight because I packed for 2 days. I've been almost like on a fast, and I haven't hardly eaten because I've been working so hard trying to get all my tackle in my boat, and my garage is empty out here tonight. My buddy Kenny is driving my truck and boat right now to Conroe, and Boyd Duckett's a good friend of ours. Boyd lives a couple 10 miles down the road, and he's letting me and Robin fly with him on his jet tomorrow. So it's nice to have a good friend with a jet that like you go fly for free.
Nothing
Pick
like
up
a
old
buddy
bum like
like
me
Boyd.
needs a free ride. So we're flying down there tomorrow. So all my stress is over right now because I can't pack anything else. I can't do anything. Everything is on the road. And I'm excited about the classic. I'm excited to get down there where it's going to be 75 and 80 degrees and get out of this cold weather and get after some fish and try to bring that title back to Alabama.
Yeah, there you go. And a lot of people don't. You kind of hit on it there, Randy. A lot of people don't realize what you go through to prep for the Bassmaster Classic, not only physically but mentally too. Man, it's a process. It's not like you just hop in your truck and your boat and you go.
Or your jet.
Or your jet, like Boyd.
Yeah.
But I mean, you've been going through stuff. I mean, it's meticulous. This is the biggest deal in bass fishing that's about to happen here next week.
Yeah, it's so much that goes into it just thinking about it, and it's been weird this year because we've had to fish 2 tournaments that kind of took our attention off the classic, and I didn't really like that a lot.
It's weird, right?
Bass fishermen don't like change, so you can't make everybody happy. And I'm not complaining, but I wish they would leave that gap alone and just not put 2 tournaments in front of the classic, because the classic is so sacred and it's so big that you want to get the hype and the build up, and you don't want anything to take attention away from that classic. And so I've had to kind of put the classic on the back burner and try to fish 2 tournaments. Didn't really do great to start with. I missed both cuts and just didn't have great success on either event. So I put it behind me, and now I'll get the classic back out here and focus on that. But now that I've been packing for it for several days and getting my boxes of Yamamotos and my Livingstons in and my new Daiwa rods and reels and all the stuff, and just going through the garage full of products trying to get ready for it, it's just got me all pumped up and excited again. I mean, and as long as I've done this, I still get those butterflies and I get that adrenaline rush. And I was worn out at midnight last night when I went in here to go to bed after I worked, and I still lay down in the bed and my mind's thinking about the classic, and I get thinking about holding that trophy up and all that feeling and all that emotion, and my heart was just racing. I'm like, dude, you got to go to sleep. You're tired. You got to get up. I'm like, quit thinking about this, and I can't get it off my mind because that's how awesome it is.
Dude, and I mean, and I know from talking to you earlier in the week, you're pretty stoked about this one.
I am.
You got that funny feeling, don't you?
Yeah, I've had a good feeling. I have. It's been kind of weird because y'all know the miraculous, event that happened at Guntersville and how amazing that happened, and we all know that was divine intervention. But the last 2 years after that, I mean, at Hartwell, I went into the final day 1 pound out of the lead. Really thought in my heart that I was going to win back to back. I don't know how or why, but I still felt like it was going to happen. And then that next day, everything fell apart and it didn't happen, so it wasn't meant to be. But then last year at Grand Lake, same deal. I felt like that again, and everything was good. I actually found the fish that won the classic. I just didn't catch them, and that's what really chapped me last year. Edwin came up there the last day, and I didn't know anybody was going to be there. So I waited all morning to go there, let the weather get right. And I get there and I messed up and came late. And he didn't know I was up there. And he comes up and catches them. And I looked at those fish that he weighed in on those trees the day before, the camera. I mean, it's just a crazy deal. If you watched it on TV, they edited most of it out, but you can still see the frustration of where I know I was there. And I just didn't do the right things and make the right decisions. And that's what winning a tournament like the Classic is all about, making the right decisions. So I've been around the fish to win 3 years in a row now, and only got 1 out of 3. So I'm hoping I'll get another chance this time, and pray, the good Lord to let it all happen again, and He'll do it in a miraculous way to where He'll get all the glory for it, because it's definitely not about me. I'm just the guy that gets to do it, so I'm thankful.
Yes, dude, and we're rooting for you. I think there's something going on here. I mean, I kind of sense something here.
Yeah, there's something going on.
I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean? We got this bassin sense.
I hope you're right, man. I hope you're right.
And I don't know what you know about this show, but it's we're not bragging, but I'm bragging that that we seem to have good luck for anglers that come on our show before derbies.
Oh, good. Okay.
Do you know about that?
It is true.
Yeah.
Which one? Who? Tell me about.
Well,
it.
let's talk about a guy named Greg Hackney, maybe.
Uh-huh.
A guy named Kevin Van Dam, maybe.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Let's talk about Mike McClelland.
Mike McClelland. You know, they come on the show and something great happens. Now, Jeff Crete, that's another story with Crete. Yeah.
I should have. It's my fault now, because you invited me to come on the show way back before the season started, and I should have come on there, and maybe I would have started the season out better. I know.
Now the Classic is the one you want.
This is the deal. You got to get a deuce. You're looking to double down on the BMC. Right? Andy, how much time do we have left? Are we right there? Oh, goodness gracious. Hey, Randy, we are up against the clock. Time flies when you're having fun, huh?
Yes, it does, man. Yes, it does.
Dude, thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with us, man. We had a great time.
I appreciate y'all having me, and it's awesome to use this technology to get to see each other and talk and answer questions. And man, keep up the good work. Y'all doing a great job, and hopefully we can come back and have the Classic trophy sitting right behind me on the next show. How about that?
Absolutely. Yeah. And you know what I learned from you today, Randy? That Robin is the brains behind this whole operation.
You should have known that a long time ago.
I should have known better. I should have known better. Randy, thank you so much. And we're looking forward to having you on again. Safe travels, and knock them out at the BMC, buddy.
All right, guys. Thank you, guys. God bless you. We'll see you down there, all right?
You too,
Good luck.
man. Hey, that's Randy Howell, Bassmaster Elite Series Tour Pro, Bassmaster Classic Champion. Don't go nowhere. Put the power poles down. When we get back, it's FLW winner, fresh off of the Harris chain.
Harris chain.
Harris chain. Bradley Dortch coming at you. Power poles down.
Chicagoland's #1 reel tuning expert. Whether you need your reel tuned up, souped up, or basic maintenance, Ben Botcher, the Reel Slayer from SlayerReelTuning.com, has your reel needs covered. Ben is the official reel tuner of Stray Casts, and he can customize your reel to your exact specifications, like new ball bearings, drag washers, clean reels, and the latest and greatest handles. When it comes to reels, go to the best and contact Ben, the Reel Slayer, and get your reel tuned to perfection and back in no time. Go to the website, SlayerReelTuning.com. That's SlayerReelTuning.com.
How did you change your body? I mean, like just really working out? Mm-hmm. Could you take...
I did martial arts a lot, and full contact karate and weights. And
could anybody do that? Could you take these to the...
Come on, say what you're really thinking.
Could you change anybody's body with enough time? Seriously?
Sure, yeah, definitely. Yeah. It just takes determination, hard work, and good instructor.
The swim jig technique is one of the most successful ways to put fish in the boat. Time in and time out, Brovani Bait swim jigs are just the right tool for the job. Beaming with quality, the Brovani swim jigs come in a myriad of colors, feature the best premium hooks and solid trailer keepers to give you, the serious bass angler, the confidence you need to accomplish your goal of putting more fish in the boat. So go to BrovaniBaits.com and start climbing the ladder to swim jig success.
Welcome back to Straight Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. I'm Pat Renwick. This is Ryan Popcorn Whitaker.
Yes.
And America, do you speak into Dortch? Because we do right here, right now. FLW Tour Pro winner, champion, ladies and gentlemen, Bradley Dortch. Yeah. Woo! Yes. Welcome to the show, Bradley.
What's going on, guys?
It's good to have you, man.
Man, it's good to be here. I love the show.
Thanks, dude. We have a good time, you know. It's cut and dry.
That's the objective.
You know. Yeah. So the first question that I have for you is, what size worm weight do you use? No, that's a normal bass fishing show. Sorry. That's a normal bass fishing show. I'm just kidding. But the real deal is, Bradley, you beat Brian Thrift. You beat Brian.
That's what I'm talking about.
You beat Brian Thrift. Yes.
That's been hard to do, too.
Yeah, the dude's been on fire.
He's like Denzel Washington, man on fire. You know what I'm saying? He's a beast. He's a beast. But you know what, dude? You persevered at this Harris chain. It's a life changer to win any event, man. Congratulations. Is it
Thanks.
sunk in?
I appreciate it. I know it's been a crazy week since I've won.
I'm sure, nonstop, right?
Oh, the phone's been ringing off the hooks, text messages, Facebook messages, and I'm the type of guy. I've been sitting here for basically since I got in 2 nights ago, and I've tried to answer, everyone personally, and it's been a challenge for sure.
Man, I mean,
gotta rest those thumbs.
And there's no offense intended on this statement, but Bradley, you're not the typical bass touring pro. Okay, you're just a dude. You're just a dude.
That's it.
You're just a dude, and you won a big ass derby.
That's right.
I mean,
100,000 G's, by the way.
Yeah. Did you go to did you treat yourself to something expensive like Arby's or something after that?
Large Coke.
Yeah, I did Wendy's, a triple cheeseburger, like a Baconator.
Yes. You're speaking my language right there. You got to go with the triple
Victory
right there.
dinner.
That's right.
and large it up. Large it up. You kind of went away from the norm on that Harris chain deal, and you had a bunch of guys chasing those spawners, and you kind of knew a little something. You were like, you know what? I don't think that's the deal. I gotta do something else. Tell everybody what you did.
Yeah, when I lived. What a lot of people don't know is I lived down in Florida for a while, and still getting messages. And I knew by the living down there, I try to look at everything, on like a bass calendar instead of like a regular calendar. And I knew with the mild winter, my mom lives down there, and I've been calling her, hey, look, what's the weather been? What's this been? I've been looking, and I had a feeling before we showed up. I told a couple guys I stay with, I said, we're not fishing a typical March tournament. We're fishing an April tournament.
Right.
Just by the water temperature, and I knew the moon, and it's funny because if you listen to the dock talk or you listen to guys, I mean, it was the whole week. Oh man, I seen 20 big ones on bed. I seen this on bed. I seen that on bed, and I just said, I'm not doing it. I'm not going in there looking. I'm not going to do it.
Is that just because you don't like doing it, or you don't feel comfortable doing it, or you'd rather wind them?
He knew.
No, I would rather wind them, but I don't mind doing it. I just knew that it wasn't going to hold up for 4 days.
Right.
I figured they were going to smash me the first day, and I figured if I could just kind of hang on in there after the first day, you were going to see some big changes on day 2, day 3, and of course day 4, which we did. Thank the Lord.
Yeah.
You weathered the storm. Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah. That's it. I was just trying to survive and get out of there the first day and put myself in contention to, cash a good check. It's important for me to get a check.
$100,000.
You sure did cash a good check, Bradley.
Yeah. That's right.
So we had another tour pro. Your buddy Mike McClelland was on here, right? He played leadoff here tonight, and he kind of had a 3-prong approach to the deal that he won over there on the Table Rock, and you kind of had a little 3-prong thing going too. On the Harris
Yeah,
chain.
I did. I didn't break out the third prong until the final day, and I wish I would have broke it out a little earlier. But I stayed with pretty much like a 1-2 punch between flipping pads and and throwing a rattle trap out in the hydrilla. So that was kind of my deal of the week. I'd bounce between the two. If we got some wind, I'd run out to the hydrilla. Sorry. And then if it was sunny and slick, I kind of stayed in the pads or right on the edge of the pads.
And we got to see you doing some of that firsthand on the FLW Live, and what a cool deal that is now too. That FLW is bringing that to the fans, man. I mean, the
FLW Live is huge. I mean, that's something they've been needing for a long time, and I'm finally glad they got on board, and I'm glad that I happened to be a part of it while they were on board.
Yeah, and your mom's happy too because Byron's on there.
I swear, don't even remind me.
Well, Byron's not even returning my phone calls right now. I hope he's watching. So I did something to make Byron.
If you need me to, I'll get my mom to call him. I'm sure he'll answer.
Okay, good.
Hey, you mentioned that you were running to the hydrilla if you got a little wind out there. Explain to those of us that don't know why the wind is so important on a grass flat like that.
Well, it's not deep hydrilla. You're still in Florida, and everything you figure it's 5 foot or less, and just that little bit of wind breaks up the surface enough to kind of it gives them a look at the bait, but it doesn't let them look at it too good. So you can actually get them to come out and eat it. And a lot of times if they don't want to eat it, the nice thing about the hydrilla is it hangs your bait up. So, if you can kind of bog it up, if they don't want to eat it, when you snatch it out, you can, pretty much force feed them.
Right.
That's it.
And those Florida bass, man, reckon that vibrating bait, dude, when you rip it out of there, that's a pretty special deal.
Oh, absolutely. But the bad part about it was, on day 3, I went down there and was snatching it out of the grass, and the fish really wasn't. I should have changed colors on the 3rd day, and I didn't do it. And they were coming out and trying. They didn't want to eat it. They were just swiping at it. So I wasn't getting a good hook set, and I lost 2 big ones right off the bat. Oof. And final day though, when it counted, I finally made a couple of changes and put them in the boat.
Nice. You had a pretty unique way of gearing up for ripping those rattling baits out of there. I mean, you weren't necessarily using a conventional Florida setup. Tell us about that.
No, yeah, Enigma Fishing, they're a rod company. They build, some awesome rods. I've been with them actually 2 years and blessed to be with them. And during practice, a lot of that hydrilla was the better hydrilla was really thick, and it was, it was hard to get the bait out of it. And I kept playing with, rod combinations and reel combinations and line combinations till finally, I ended up digging it's a 710 at Aaron's Edge. It's a cranking rod. It's built for like a 20XD. It's built for, a DD22.
Right.
I'm in an 8XD or a DD22. It's a bigger cranking rod, but, it had enough backbone, but it had enough tip where you could throw it, in the grass and then rip it out. And it come out relatively easy, which saved my arms and my elbows a little bit. With a little heavier rod, but it still has enough tip to keep them from tearing off.
Have you ever had a conversation with Aaron about the Enigma rods? Like, have you ever sat down and talked to him?
I've never really sit down and talked to him. Jesse that owns Enigma, kind of gave me the rundown and said, look, he picked out the blanks. This is his deal. And I have talked to him on the phone a few times. And, when you speak to him, he's very meticulous about every little detail.
He's a little bass wizard is what Aaron is.
He is a bass wizard, and the nice thing about it is when you buy the rod or you throw the rod, this guy had his hand on it, so you're getting the real deal whenever you purchase it.
Yeah, there was a little bit of thought put behind each
Yeah.
blank, I believe.
Behind everything Aaron does, there's no doubt about it. Hey, Ryan, give us a little history.
Well, dude, you I mean, in your short time with FLW, you've done very well. I mean, in my opinion. 32. You fished 32 events, 4 top 10s, 2 wins, and that's just 1 year as a pro. And your first year as a pro, you got a win already. I mean, that's pretty impressive, man. What were you fishing other than this?
What's that?
What were you fishing before FLW? I mean, I don't think you just jumped in and fished your first 32 tournaments as in FLW, and then hit the road.
I didn't. I used to bounce between, it was the Rayovacs or the Everstarts back in the day. I fished a lot of those as a co-angler, and then I fished the Opens actually for 5 or 6 years as a co-angler. Okay. So I spent a lot of time in the back of the boat, and then, I traveled with Tom Hamlin Jr. from Georgia, which is a deep water stick. I actually got an opportunity to fish with Matt Herron a few times. And there was a local guy that's really good, David Foshi. I traveled with him. So, I mean, I had some awesome guys to fish with. And, that's the biggest thing. I'm 37. Of course, at 21, 22, when I started doing it, I wanted to be in the front of the boat. Number one, I couldn't afford to go to the front of the boat. And number two, I honestly didn't have enough knowledge to go to the front of the boat. So it's taken a long time to get to the front, but it's paying off quick.
And the co-angling like that give you a lot of knowledge as well, right?
Yeah, if you do get a bad draw, so what? You figure out what not to do.
Yeah,
and I kept a lot of notes, and I bought maps everywhere we went, and I would circle and say, okay, yeah, I fished here, water temp was here, don't go back here. Right. Or I would circle it and say, yeah, this place is awesome. Here's the water temp, time of year we were there. This is what you're looking for. So
nice.
I kept my notes.
Nice.
Hey, are you aware that your last name has now turned into a fishing adjective?
I've just figured this out. My wife sent me a thing Sunday night and said, hey, congratulations, you were Dortching.
Yeah. It's actually a dance now, too. They're doing the Dortch.
They're doing the Dortch.
Really?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, I'm sure it's not a very good dance if you're dancing to the Dortch.
And it's also a language. It's speaking the Dortch.
Hey, I have my own language. You hear the redneck accent?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's totally defined yet what dorching is.
Yes.
I mean, if you're dorching, I don't know if that's your, I'm not sure exactly what they're saying. But it's yet to be defined, so you have a chance now.
Yes.
To really define
I think it's a Derby winner. Dorching is winning a Derby.
It's defined as very and then the fire emoji con.
Oh, yes, very fire.
Very fire.
Bradley started the morning
fire.
Dorching with a 7 and 8 pounder.
Yes. There's no doubt about it that you did. Hey, a lot of people noticed that you weren't wearing a jersey at this Derby.
I knew this was coming.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, and I kind of figured it out. I mean, I know the answer to this. Do you want to talk about that, or I mean, wow.
Yeah, absolutely. It's because I had Mercury on my jersey, and it's because I had Blazer boats, which is a pretty awesome boat, by the way.
Yes. Yeah. That's like the fastest boat in the planet, isn't it?
Hey. I come out of like a 19-foot Ranger with an old 200, and it was a good boat, and I won a ton of money out of it. Before that boat, I fished. You said something about some BFL top 10s. That was out of a 1989 16-foot Fisher with a 60-horse Mercury.
Nice.
So I've been a long time, and I got tired of people passing me. So I bought a Blazer, and now I just drive by their ass because I can.
Yeah, you call that hammer down in the hammer lane. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
How fast are you going in that?
Like even in practice, I just pass people just to pass them because I hadn't passed nobody in so many years. I just drive by them like wide open.
How fast are you going in that Blazer?
Fully loaded. That's co-angler, his gear, live wells full, tanks is run 77.
Wow.
Dude,
That's cooking.
That's face peelers.
Oh yeah,
you get the
like
G
slobbers
factor.
running out of your co-angler's mouth.
That's outstanding. Hey, we like to play games on this show. You ever been on a bass fishing game show?
I never have, but I was playing along with McClelland's show a while ago.
Okay, well we got well, we didn't get to play with Randy, so we're gonna play a little game. This one's called the Bassin Match Game. Okay.
Let's do it.
It's the Bassin Match Game. Hey, welcome everybody to the Bassin Match Game. I'm your host, Pat Renwick. Bradley Dortch, FLW Tour Pro, is coming at us live right now. Bradley, I'm going to say something here. I'm going to say a phrase, and you tell me how it relates to bass fishing, the Bassin Match Game. Bradley, the first word to you. Oh, these are numbers. 22 pounds, 4 ounces. 22 pounds, 4 ounces.
Big sack.
Big sack. There's no doubt, but the significance of that is George W. Perry. George W. Perry, world record bass. Okay, mark him one wrong. Bradley got one wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I have more music? I need game show music. Yeah, there it is.
we go.
Thank you.
We're
this
back.
gets me in the mood. Frigid.
I live in South Alabama. I don't know nothing about frigid.
We're gonna accept that. Give that one to Bradley. Ding. Right there. Keeps you smiling. Keeps you smiling, Bradley Dortch.
This game is tough.
It is, yeah.
Big bags. I don't know. Big bass.
Okay, the correct answer is $125,000 check. Okay, there it is. Two wrong for Bradley. Playing it safe, Bradley. Playing it safe.
Playing it safe is never locking through.
Never locking through. Give him that one, Ginge. Ginger's got him on that one. Wildebeest.
That's something that's actually would be a mudfish or a grinnell.
Yeah, I hate those grinnells. Them bowfins are ornery, man.
That's right.
I don't even want to touch them half the time.
Bait crushers.
No,
Yeah.
don't lip them.
No, don't do that. That's dangerous. Kicking the dead horse.
That's when you've had a crappy practice and you continue to do the same thing.
Over and over. And
bonus points for that one.
Bonus points. Bradley got 4 out of 6, and you won $7. You won $7, Bradley.
That's awesome.
Yes. Our social media guy, JP High, is going to send that to you in the mail.
Sweet. Tell him to go buy a cheeseburger with it. I'm good.
Yeah. You got that covered already.
He will.
Don't you?
Thank you.
Hey, JP, speaking of that, anything going on the social media for Bradley?
Yeah, we got a good one from Jan Lopez. He said, what's one bait you always had confidence as a co-angler to catch one out of the back of the boat?
That would be a net bait salt lick, which is a Cinco style.
Okay.
Works everywhere you go.
Nice. Can't beat it. Can't beat it.
Green pumpkin?
Green pumpkin, Brad?
You never leave on without green pumpkin and June bug.
There you go. Especially in Florida.
That's the right answer.
Got to have that.
That's right.
Got to have that June bugger right there. There's no doubt about it. Hey, the whole deal with Florida fishing is Florida. They're finicky fish. They're not normal bass. I mean, I lived down there for 10 years, so I know a little bit about them, but I kind of forgot a lot about them too. But I know they're not a normal beast, are they?
No, they're not. They're any slight little temperature change and what a lot of people don't understand is in Florida, a lot of those lakes there's no current. They don't generate current. They don't pull current. So the wind is the key to everything. The wind dictates the water color. The wind dictates the current. The wind is everything. I know a lot of people say, man, I hate fishing in the wind. Down there, you need some wind.
The wind is your friend.
That's exactly right. I mean, that's the way I've always looked at it. A lot of that clean water that you really need. The Florida bass like clean water, and a lot of the clean water backs up in the back of the grass and the back of the reeds. Well, if you get the wind a lot of times the wind will dirty up one side, but the other side will clean up, while the other side's being dirty. And then vice versa. It just pushes the clean water around and, pushes the dirty water around. You just got to adjust. Every day is different down there.
So clean water and wind, key to catching Florida bass.
And stable weather.
And, yeah, definitely stable weather. That tournament was setting up to be a slugfest, and it turned out to be very good. But that final morning, I was kind of a little concerned. We had that front come through, and when I got to the ramp, it was definitely cooler. And but usually, thank goodness the second day of a front down in Florida is usually the worst day. So we were right on the front end of it. So it turned out good.
And
turned out really good.
Those Florida fish, man. I mean, I had a buddy that I used to fish some derbies with down in Florida, and he would literally only show up to the dance with red shad, green flake, and June bug, 7-inch ribbon tails. That's it. That's it.
That's all you need. Don't complicate it. That's what I kept telling myself. Listen, don't complicate this. It's rattle trap, chrome and blue or shad pattern, and color wise worm, June bug.
And it would always be in the clearer water was the red shad, and in the dirtier stuff the June bug.
That's right. That's right.
Florida
a lot
fishing.
of times in the clear, I will swap to a watermelon red color. A lot of times they do like a watermelon in really clear water, but we never had that this week. I mean, we had good water, but it wasn't gin clear.
Right.
Hey, was there a moment on the final day of that tournament where you knew you had it, or you really felt like you had it won?
Honestly, no. I knew that I needed to catch 20 plus to probably have a shot, but I never really knew. And then once I got in, we got in the bag line and they called me down to come do an interview. And when I was going down to do the interview, I heard a spectator say, "Oh, JT Kenny smoked them today."
Yeah.
And I didn't know that. And I'm like, oh boy, this is not going to be good. And, I did my interview and he weighed in, so I didn't get to see him weigh in. And when I got back, it was almost time for me to weigh in. So I'm trying to do the math in my head, it's going to take 21 to win, and I thought I had around 20 and a half. So honestly, no, I did not.
And you don't want the Kenny Powers of bass fishing. That's JT Kenny. You don't want him on your tail, dude.
No, he's taken enough money from me.
Yeah, he's
over the years.
We
between
learned
BFLs and Rayovacs and Costas and I'm good.
We learned he's a T man, not an A man, on this show right here. that's what we learned about JT Kenny. Bradley, I'm getting the signal. We're right up against the clock here. Is there anything that you want to say to your fans or your sponsors before we get out of here?
Yeah, actually, I have a lot of construction trash buddies. That's what I am is, work industrial construction. I'm construction trash. So I wanted to tell all my construction buddies hello, and I appreciate them tuning in. And no, it's just, I got a few sponsors. I don't have, a lot of paying sponsors. So anybody that's interested, definitely check me out at Bradley Dortch Fishing on Facebook. Bradley Dortch on Instagram. I'm game. Something's got to give sooner or later.
Yeah, who would you like for a sponsor? Who would you like?
Oh, man.
Like, name somebody. Name a company.
Actually, Wind Creek Casino in Atmore, Alabama.
Okay, Wind Creek Casino. You got to say it again one more time.
Wind Creek Casino. It's in Atmore, Alabama. They have an amazing facility. And, hey, man, Atmore used to be known for a prison. Now we're known for a casino.
Now it is known for the casino. See, that's how you do it. You just say stuff. Like we always say Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew.
Yeah,
Mountain Dew.
You're learning.
Bradley Dortch, thank you so much. It's great to learn a few things about you. Thanks for coming on and clowning around with us, dude.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Anytime you guys can't get somebody halfway decent, I'm always here for you.
You're welcome anytime. It ain't like that, man. We're glad that you're doing well, and we hope to see a lot more from you in the future, buddy.
Keep it up.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, take care of yourself. Safe travels, man, and go knock them out at Cumberland. Keep this up.
I'm on try. We'll see. I'm feeling a little better after that 100 G's.
You are, but don't eat too many triples from Wendy's. It'll slow you down.
I know. Heart attack in a sack.
It'll slow you down. Thank you so much, Bradley. Hey, that wraps up another Straight Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. I'm Pat Renwick, Ryan Popcorn Whitaker, JP, hey, Andy Ginger, and Larry Kyleman is in the house.
Larry.
We are bidding you adieu. Farewell. We will catch you next week right here. Same bat place, same bat time. Straightcast.net and the Straightcast Facebook page. Don't forget about Straightcast on Instagram. Straightcast on, where else are we?
On the iTunes.
We go on the iTunes and leave
Facebook,
a review
iTunes,
and tell them how sexy
Instagram.
you think that Larry Kyleman is.
YouTube.
Make sure you do it right here.
Tell
Catch you
'em.
next week. I'm Pat Renwick. Peace.